you haven't heard about Airlink, stay tuned because it's a real game changer for the Oculus Quest. Now, Airlink has been out for a little while now, but I haven't really had a chance to check it out. And I recently did use it to play some Beat Saber and record some gaming content, and I was completely blown away, and I just had to tell more people about this feature. So today we'll be chatting about what is Airlink, why it's cool, and how to set it up for your Oculus Quest. So one of the great features of the Oculus Quest is that it's wireless. It doesn't need any cables to be able to work, you don't need a PC to use it, it's completely standalone and you don't really need anything else to run it, which is great. It makes it cheaper, makes it more accessible to more people, but the downside is just not going to get that VR experience that you would get with a PC. So VR headsets like the Valve Index, the HTC Vive, all run off a PC, and because of that, they're able to access the computing power of a PC to run really high resolution graphics and to access the games that are designed for PC VR. Most notably, there's games like Half-Life Alyx, which is just stunning, and I highly recommend everyone who owns a VR headset to check out this game. But of course, there's things like Beat Saber, where you can access a whole collection of mods for the PC version of Beat Saber. And things just run a lot better. You can run Noodle extensions, which gives you all the crazy Beat Saber maps that you may have seen me play. So that's a real advantage of playing games like Beat Saber on the PC. Graphically, it's going to run better, and you're going to have more options when it comes to mods. Previously, when the Oculus Quest came out, you could only play the games that are available on the headset. You can't play any PC VR games for it. But then they released the Oculus Link, which is essentially a cable that you can plug into your Oculus Quest headset and plug it into your PC to play VR games that way. And it unlocks a huge amount of games you can play. You can play any games from the Oculus Store on the PC, and you can play any games from the Steam Store as well. So by plugging it in, you can play games like Half-Life Alyx, Beat Saber mods, whatever your heart contents. The world's your oyster when it comes to VR games. So that was a really cool feature they added for the Oculus Quest and really opened it up for the market and made it a go-to headset for purchasing. But the problem with the Oculus Link is that you do still have to have a cable. And one of the great joys of the Oculus Quest is that you don't need cables. It's wireless. You're able to flail your arms around and dance around as much as you want and not have to be tied down by a cable. Then, Oculus has recently released Airlink, which essentially does what the cable does but wirelessly. And for me, this has been a big game changer because if I'm going to play a VR game that has a PC, I'm going to use my Valve Index. It's a better quality headset. I'm always going to opt for that. But if there's an option to easily play games without a cable, then I'm all for that. And that's exactly what Airlink does. It's a little setting within your headset that you're able to turn on and turn on from your PC end as well, and you're able to access all the games on your PC wirelessly. And I tested this out the other day for Beat Saber. I even used mixed reality, and it actually worked way better than what I was expecting. There was a bit of latency that I could kind of feel, but it wasn't major. Like, I could still play the games perfectly fine. On the Twitch stream, people didn't complain about any lag or anything. Everything ran really easy, and it was actually really easy to set up. I also finally played some 360 maps for Beat Saber as well. And usually I don't play these maps because the cable's just always in the way when it comes to playing 360 maps in Beat Saber. So I was really excited to be able to play some 360 maps and jump around and have as much fun as I want without getting lost in my cable. So this feature hasn't been unique just to Oculus. Years ago, Virtual Desktop released a feature that allows you to play PC games wirelessly on your Oculus Quest. Virtual Desktop is a program you download from the App Store on your Oculus Quest, and then you also download the program on your PC and you're able to get them to talk to each other. It used to be that you had to use SideQuest if you wanted to play your PC games, which if you've seen my Beat Saber modding guides is not really an easy process to do, so it's not too user-friendly set up. Fortunately, with the recent update, they were able to bypass that, so now all you need is a Virtual Desktop app to download on your Oculus Quest and then run the Virtual Desktop program from your PC, and again, you get that kind of Airlink wireless experience where you can play wireless PC VR games from your Oculus Quest completely wirelessly. So there's two ways that you can play PC VR games wirelessly. It's either Oculus's own Airlink or Virtual Desktop. Now, Virtual Desktop does run everything a lot better. I believe it supports 120 Hz as well, and I've heard that the latency is just a lot better when it comes to running Virtual Desktop. So that program does cost money. I think it was like $40 Australian for me, whereas Airlink is free. So that's kind of the pros and cons of both of them. And personally, I've used Virtual Desktop, but I find it really hard to use. I always get really confused with what I'm doing, and sometimes I just can't get stuff working. Whereas with the Airlink, I've just always been able to get it to work pretty much straight away with no issues. So it really comes down to your preference on how you want to play wireless PC VR games from your Oculus Quest. Whether you want to use Airlink, which is free and easy to use, or if you want to use Virtual Desktop, which costs a bit of money but runs a lot better. So I'll probably make a separate video about Virtual Desktop one day, but for now, we're we're going to talk about how to set up Airlink. So firstly, if you want to run Oculus Airlink, you need a VR enabled PC. And generally, this is a PC which has a graphics card, I think a minimum, I think it's a 1080 GPU, I'll double check that, and a CPU of a similar spec as well. So these days, most PCs you buy off the shelf come VR capable. You can even buy laptops at pretty cheap prices that can run VR as well, but you do need that minimum spec. So once you got your PC, you need to download the Oculus software. So this Oculus software essentially is similar to the store that's on your Oculus Quest, but it gives you access to all the Oculus games for PC. So there's a ton of Oculus games out there, but sometimes not all of them are just for the Quest. Sometimes there's some that are just for the PC Oculus version, and sometimes there's ones that are both. They have like a PC version and a Quest version. And with the PC version, I find they always just run better. And if you're a content creator, if you're recording, they're going to record in full screen as well, rather than the tiny view that you get with the Oculus Quest when recording. So the other thing you need is a decent Wi-Fi connection. So this is pretty important. Your Wi-Fi needs to have a 5 gigahertz band or an AC band. If you're not sure what that means, maybe ask like your parents or whoever owns the wireless router in the house. You can also have a look at the box. It might say 802.11N or something like that. N's usually like the bandwidths and stuff like that. So if it's got AC, that's generally pretty good. And most Wi-Fi routers these days have 5 gigahertz. So hopefully your Wi-Fi router is pretty decent, and hopefully it's got a pretty good range to the room that you want to use it for. Now, if you don't have good Wi-Fi, I picked up one of these guys. It's a Netgear Orbi, and what this is the Wi-Fi mesh network. So essentially it allows you to have little devices around your house that connects to your internet and kind of broadcast a stronger wireless network. So I have one set up in my office, and then the other one's connected to my modem in the living room. And yeah, it's been so good. I can't believe I didn't get one earlier. The Wi-Fi is just so much better in here. I can even get Wi-Fi out in my backyard now. So it's been really good for doing wireless Oculus Quest stuff and just improving my general Wi-Fi in my office. So definitely look at a mesh wireless network if this is something that you want to do regularly. Or if you just want to improve your Wi-Fi, it's a good little device. So Oculus Airlink was something that was released in an update, I think like 1 or 2 versions ago, and it's called version 28. So make sure you're all up to date. So jump into your settings, and I believe it's in the About section, and in that area that you should see where it says version, it should be like 28 point something or 29 point something. So make sure you're all up to date. If not, software updates, and make sure it's all up to date. And then on the Oculus version on your PC, open up that app, same thing, jump into settings, check the version, it'll be at the bottom of the page, and you want that to be 28 or higher. And if not, make sure everything's up to date, otherwise it's not going to show up. So we then want to turn on Airlink. So on the Oculus software on your PC, we want to navigate to settings, and then on the top we're going to have a few options, and we want to navigate all the way to beta. And from there, if you look down the page, there'll be an option that says Airlink, and we want to switch that tab on. Now, this only stays on for 24 hours, which I find kind of annoying. So every time you boot it up, you're going to have to switch that on again. So remember where those settings are and get familiar with it. So once that's on, we can then chuck on our Oculus Quest. And again, we want to jump into settings on our Oculus Quest. And then on the left-hand side, there'll be an option that says experimental features. And within the experimental features, we've got a few things there, but if you scroll down, there'll be an option that says Airlink. So we want to switch that on. So once it's enabled, we then want to navigate to our quick actions within the Oculus Quest. In your settings option, this is up the very top. So we want to click on quick actions, and within that page on the right hand side, we should see an option that says Airlink. And once we click on that, we should get an option that says available computers. And within that list, you should see the PC that's connected to your internet, and it'll have a name if you named it, or it might just have random PC numbers. So that should be your PC. So we want to click on that and press pair. And after that, the interface should all change, and we'll start to see a different kind of Oculus environment, which means now you're running in the PC VR Oculus environment. And that's exactly what you want. So now you can access all the Oculus PC games from that interface, but you can't access the Steam games. Well, it might let you, but there's a few more steps we want to do before that. So if you want to run SteamVR games and you don't have Steam already installed, you've got to download Steam, so make sure to do that. And along with any games you want to play. Highly recommend Half-Life Alyx. And then we want to download SteamVR from the Steam store. And what SteamVR does is essentially works with pretty much any VR headset to be able to work with the games on the Steam store. So if you do already have like another PC, like a Valve Index like I do, I find it's good to just unplug it when I want to use Oculus Air Link, otherwise it gets confused. It's like, what VR headset am I connecting to? So I just unplug it when I use Oculus Air Link. So when you launch Oculus Air Link, the Oculus software already knows you're chatting to your Oculus Quest, so SteamVR should just work. So hopefully it should recognize and you'll get like the little Oculus logos with the controllers and everything should just work. Hopefully. And if you find that your space is a bit out of whack, you can press like the home button and there are options there to reset your view, which I find really useful in SteamVR. Now, if you are doing any mixed reality content, like mixed reality Beat Saber, or just in general, one of the most frustrating things about the Oculus Quest is that if you take it off, and you put it down for like a couple of minutes or not even that, then the headset goes to sleep and then it kind of just resets everything. So if you're doing mixed reality, it'll completely reset your play space, it'll just freak out everything, or it'll completely just connect from Oculus Air Link and just everything. So I don't know if there's better ways to handle that. If you do know better ways to handle that, leave some comments down below. But yeah, that's I think the most frustrating thing with using the Oculus Quest when doing mixed reality content is that, yeah, as soon as you take it off, it goes to sleep and then completely loses all your calibration. So you have to calibrate again and again. So that's where it becomes really frustrating for, I guess, personally for me, for making Beat Saber content. But outside of that, having wireless Beat Saber, pretty great. And of course, if you are a content creator or if you're doing a lot of VR chat or something, you can get something like a mod mic, a wireless mod mic that attaches. And yeah, and then you can have wireless microphone as well and record content if that's your jam too. And yeah. Air Link's great. I'm really excited by it. I think I'm going to start using a lot more for filming VR gaming content or Beat Saber content. And by the way, I have a gaming channel, a VR gaming channel, where I've been uploading lots of VR gaming content. I don't talk about it much, but I've been working really hard on the channel lately, so make sure to check that out if you want to support my hard work. And if you like VR gaming content, especially ridiculous comedy style content, then make sure to subscribe. But my latest video, I am using the Oculus Quest Air Link. So yeah, make sure to check that out if that's your jam. But apart from that, I think that's the whole video. I didn't really have a huge plan for this video apart from just talk about like Air Link's awesome and you should check it out. But of course, virtual desktop is, I would say, a better option if you don't mind navigating just a few more extra steps. I need to get my head around it a bit better, but yeah, whenever I try and set it up, I just get stuck on something, but maybe that's my fault. But outside of that, Air Link is really user-friendly to use. I was really surprised, and it runs really well, so I just wanted to share that with you guys, especially if you do own a gaming PC already and want to unlock more games for your Oculus Quest, then definitely check it out. But thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you. Leave a thumbs up if it did, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!